What's up my people, my name is Spicy and a bunch of you participated in the giveaway and that is awesome. Thank you for everyone that participated and I will draw the 4 winners in the next few days. Enjoy these 10 IDontWorkHereLady stories I got for you today. Comment a fire if you're having fun and like this video to support me. Congratulations Betty for the comment of the day. How much is this dress? I am a man in a woman's clothing store looking for a birthday gift for a friend. An older woman, perhaps 10 feet away, turns to me, holds something up and says, "There's no price tag on this." I give her a blank stare. "Do you know how much this is?" "No." "Well, could you find out?" I think about it for a few seconds. Yes, I suppose I probably could. I turn back to browsing for a teal dress in size 3. "So, are you going to find out the price?" "Nope, definitely not." She huffs and puffs and declares she's going to find a manager. Reappears shortly with what I assume is the store manager, jabbing finger in my direction. She declares that I am most rude and unhelpful. Manager looks puzzled. Before she can speak, I say, "Excuse me ma'am, this woman has been harassing me the whole time I've been in your store. I think she has some kind of mental health issues. Do you think you could call security? She seems a bit unstable." I am older myself and have that kind of authoritative gravitas that generally gets people to take me seriously. The manager looked truly frightened. I decided it was a good time to leave. That was actually a good response. It reminds me of this old joke. The man 1 says, "Does your dog bite?" And the man 2 says, "No." And then man 1 proceeds to pet dog next to man 2 and gets bitten on the hand. And then the first man was like, "You said your dog does not bite." And the second man will say, "That is not my dog." "What do you mean you can't help me?" So I work at a retail store that specializes in men's and boys clothing. And we are very busy because school is starting soon, so everyone is buying back to school clothes. I was helping out a mother and her 2 kids who were very needy. The boys did not want to be shopping and their mom did not want to put up with their attitude. No one was happy, but I was trying my best to make the experience easier so that way they could leave. Finally, after what seemed like hours, I got them to the registers. They thanked me for my time and they were on their way. Thank God. When I was off work, I went to an office supply store close to the mall to buy some things that I needed for the store. When I was shopping, I felt a tap on my shoulder. When I turned around, I saw that it was the mother and the 2 boys from earlier. Crazy mother is CM and I am M. "Oh, hi. Funny running into you here." "Where did he keep the folders?" I try not to roll my eyes. "I'm sorry, I have no clue. I feel like they'd be with the bin." "What do you mean you have no clue? You should know." "I'm sorry ma'am, I'm not familiar with this store." I get cut off. Again. That is so unprofessional. How do you not know? "This is not my store. I do not work here." "Yes, I know that, but are not these stores the same thing?" "No, I'm sorry, but I can help you. Have a good night." "What do you mean you can help me? You are a retail worker. You're supposed to know these things. All these goddamn stores are the same." At this point, an employee came up to help her and she was shouting about how retail workers are stupid and rude, etc. It is like retail workers are the slave class, so it is required that you serve your betters wherever you are, because only slaves provide service, not ordinary people like yourself. That is ridiculous. When you call the wrong place and then refuse to believe they don't have your goldfish. Last summer, I was sitting writing some notes on the computer in the office at work when the phone next to me starting to ring. I work in a hospital, and the hospital switchboard usually puts external calls through to the nurses station at the front of the ward, so any calls to the office are pretty unusual. Calls to one of the office phones normally mean it is a call from a colleague, as it has to be someone who has worked there often enough to know the number. And since we all have each other's mobile numbers, that also hardly ever happens. So I pick up the phone and just say hello, and then the name of the ward, expecting an internal call. A middle-aged sounding lady who I did not recognize and so assumed to be from some unfamiliar department pipes up on the other end of the phone and says, "Hello, I want to talk to Fred please." I don't think there's any Fred that works here." "Well, I spoke to him yesterday. Nobody here is called Fred." Are you sure you have the right ward? This is Ward X. Yes, he told me he is definitely there today. Ask someone else where he is. I'm ready to come and collect, and I want to make sure it is ready when I get there. At this point, I figure it is a relative accidentally put through to the wrong number, calling to see if their relative is ready to be picked up. I don't recognize the name Fred as somebody I am looking after, but figure I can try to help. What is Fred's surname? Look, I am asking you a very simple question. Is Fred there? I'm looking down the list of patients and there's no Fred. But if you give me his surname, I can try to figure out where he is. Right, well, you can help me then if you can find Fred. My name is this, and I need you to have my order ready when I arrive. You do realize you're calling the hospital. Look, I am just telling you, I will be there shortly to pick up the goldfish. Well, we don't have any goldfishes here. What? I asked for one to be put aside for me 3 days ago. Fred told me he had done it. Well, like I said, this is a hospital. You are calling the hospital. If a customer reserves something, you have no right to sell it to someone else. That's how it works. I said specifically I will be coming today too. Yes, but it is the hospital. What? You have wronged the hospital. You are speaking to one of the doctors at the hospital. Right. Well, can you put me through to the pet shop, please? At this point, can you just bill her for your time or for your service if you put her through the pet shop? I work over there, miles away. A long time ago, I was wandering through a big department store, wearing a suit and tie. I worked as a software engineer at a large company some miles away. While browsing whatever it was on the aisle, a woman came up and asked me the question, "You all," but this was a slight variation. Instead of, "Do you work in this department?" "No, I do not," I replied nicely. "Oh," she said, "what department do you work in?" "I work in DET6, I said, quite truthfully. That was the internal name of my department where I worked. Unsure what, where, how, or why that 6 was, she looked at me, confused, and asked, "Where is that?" I pointed in the actual direction of my work, which was about 6 miles away, straight line, over there. It looked like I was pointing at housewares. She glanced at housewares, slightly puzzled, clearly wondering how DET6 applied to rugs and throw pillows. By then, I'd had my fun, so I politely told her I did not, in fact, work at that fine establishment. Slightly embarrassed, she mouthed, "Sorry," and let me be. So not a tale of screeching manager requests or demands for my post-haste termination, but it was funny all the same. By the way, do you work for this subreddit? No? Get me your manager. Lady remembers me from when I did work there, so after work, I had to run over to a big old blue box store of crap to buy something for a last-minute project for a friend's wedding. So there I am, standing in front of the hot glue gun sticks, trying to decide if I will need more than 10. A lady comes into the aisle, and I don't look up because, do I need more than 10 sticks for this project? I reach for the 10 pack, and this rude lady yells at me, "Excuse me?" I look up with a "what the hell" expression. I am not blocking the aisle, but to be a decent human, I step closer to the shelf, thinking that this is what the issue is about. Then I go back to my sticks of glue. "Excuse me? What? I need your help here." "Good for you. Find someone that works here." "I did." "You. Now come help me before I get you fired." Beside me, my husband is laughing like a maniac on laughing gas. Now this store uniform is tan, khaki bottoms, and navy blue tops. I was wearing my work clothes, which consisted of a pair of 9 gray slacks and a purple blouse. This is nowhere near the uniform. I don't work here. Seriously, lady, back off. "Yes, you do. You've been my cashier before. Now come help me or I will get you fired." Then she crosses her arm like this is some trump card. To be fair, I might have. I worked at that store for 6 months. 6 years ago. I thought I would remember a lady that rude, but I don't. I realize this won't go well. I go back to ignoring her. "Get me fired, please do it. Put me out of my retail misery." Then she starts screaming, profanities, threats, all at the top of her lungs. But hey, this brought a manager. The woman then begins to berate the manager, who hired me, about how rude I am and how I need to be fired for my insolence. The manager on duty, she has not worked here in over 5 years. I can fire her, but I can have you removed from the store if you continue to harass other customers. My mom later called me, she works there still, and let me know that everyone that worked there and knew me was talking all about it. Lady, I don't work here. Go away. I am brown, but I don't work here. This is short and sweet. Firstly, I will mention I am a female and mixed race, black and white. When I was about 13 or 14, a pound shop, equivalent to a dollar store, opened in my local shopping center. I was in there taking a look around, wearing jeans and a hoodie, when I was approached by an older lady asking me about one of the products. I was confused as to why she would be asking. I looked around and realized that the store was owned and run by a number of Pakistani men. The area that I lived in was at the time almost entirely white, and therefore the lady had made the assumption that as I was also brown, I must also work in the store. I explained that I did not work there, and she went on her merry way. A strange role reversal. To set the scene, it is 6 AM on a Tuesday. I am dressed in jeans and a work t-shirt, which is blue, and my hair tie has snapped on my way to my job site, so I highway. The parking lot is pretty full, and the lights are all on, so I don't think much about it as I saunter in through the front doors, with a few jaunty waves to staff because I am too tired to not be friendly. People wave back. It is a grand old time. It is not until I am the hair crop aisle that someone finally clues in that I don't belong, and I am disturbed from my hair tie reverie with a "Ma'am, I'm sorry, we are closed." The moral of the story, if I'd faked it longer, I totally could have taken those hair ties. I don't work here, I am just trying to find a doll. Important information, I was 8 when this occurred. I am also now a full-grown 6'1" female. I was at a big box store picking up a popular brand of dolls. I was also 5'3", but quite obviously a child. A woman has been standing next to me while I stare at brand dolls for about 5 minutes, not moving or anything, just standing there. When I finally look over at her, she immediately starts asking questions, pricing, quality, etc. And me, being 8, quite simply said, "I am 8. The woman was shocked, but then asked me for a child's opinion on what to get to her daughter, which I help her with. This might not be that interesting of a story, but for some reason, it kept happening. The worst though was when I was asked out, again at age 8, by a 13-year-old. Sorry for the vagueness, it was over a decade ago. It is not just lanyards. So there I was, walking through a Walmart I'd never been to before, looking for something they did not end up having, when I make eye contact with a lady. Hopefully, she asked if I worked there, and I, of course, answered no. Luckily, she was apologetic. Then she said, "I saw your keys and thought you worked here." As she gestures to my keys, on a carabiner hanging off a belt loop at my hip. I'm like, really? I mean, I know women usually keep keys and stuff in a purse, but I have always hated purses. So I am wearing pants. I just go with the wallet in the back pocket, phone in the front, and keys clipped to the belt loop. In the nearly 20 years I've worn my keys like this, that was the first time anyone thought they were a sign that I worked there. I was wearing a black t-shirt and jeans, so not exactly Walmart uniform either. Weird. The keys probably just made them think you're management. I don't work here, lady, but I tried to help. Just a quick one. I was in Cabela's, browsing the camping section. I am an outdoorsy person, so I have a bit of knowledge. A woman was looking at some smokers when she spotted me. She asked if I knew anything about them, and after a little pause, she said this. Never mind. Men just lie when they don't know the answer. I was shocked at her attitude. No, I did not work there. I am 50 plus and know a lot of stuff. My mother always asked how I know so much, and worked in a department store a long time ago that had registers in each department. I counted the change back to the customer, and I didn't need a calculator to adjust the change when given extra coins. I think I said, "You don't know me, and you don't know what I may or may not know." It fell on deaf ears as she turned and walked away. Bye bye, mean girl. Well, turns out the one woman who does know something is not working on that day. Hey, check out more I Don't Work Here Lady stories here, and look at other nice videos I made for people just like you that enjoys Reddit stories. So to support what I do here, subscribe to the channel, like the video, and leave a comment, such as a fire, because my name is Spicy, and I'm out.